Hello to all the comic fans, Marvel geeks, and all the nerds in between. Welcome to another episode of the new and improved Vigilante Vibes, where I give you all the Marvel discussions, theories, and news without the toxicity that's become such a big part of the fandom. I'm your host, Megan Nicole, and today I have a very special guest. He's a community leader, a motivationalist, a speaker, and above all else, he is a fellow nerd. Please welcome Christopher Williams.
Hello, hello.
Hi, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you?
Sure. Chris Williams, been leading in the community area for over 9 years. Have this nice little nonprofit known as Being the Uncommon, or Uncommon for short. Our main focus, while being a faith-based community group, is designed to help people find like-minded individuals in community, process their beliefs, struggle well, and do life together. Fun fact about Uncommon, we started out as a faith-based nerd group of all things. It's challenging to find other individuals who share your faith and to be able to talk openly about your nerddom, regardless of its Marvel, DC, Image, or others. So,
That's amazing. I didn't realize it was started as a faith-based nerd group.
yep, deep in the roots.
Wow,
We'll be
that's so cool.
celebrating 9 years as a full entity in February next year.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, what have you seen any benefits from it for you personally besides, finding a core group of people? Have you seen it? I don't really know how to ask it. I don't really know what I'm trying to ask, but like it's in my head. It makes sense. Um, how has it shaped your life?
Oh my goodness, in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Full transparency, these individuals have saved my life multitude time over in many different ways, whether it's been my mental, whether it's been my own spiritual journey, whether it's just been being good human beings. And, as we get ready to go into 2025, good human beings are really needed right now.
Yeah.
So I really can't oversell or even just vocally describe how beneficial creating, finding, sustaining, and thriving this space has been for me, especially as its leader.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Also, I love your shirt. I forgot to say that earlier. That's amazing.
Thank you. This is a little momentum from my most recent trip to LA. Was able to go visit one of the nerd stores, kind of reserve at the moment because I know there's some different issues that have been going on. So, but I wanted to remember my time there for the good, and this was one that absolutely jumped out at me. Plus, it's great since we're getting ready to have X-Men in the MCU sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I am stupidly excited for that. I know it's going to come after Secret Wars, but Feige did say that we're going to start seeing some mutants show up before that happens. So, do you have any ideas who you'd like to see or who you think it'll be?
Who do I think? No clue. Top of my list, who I would like to see for selfish reasons, Bishop, hands down.
I fuck with Bishop so hard. I love him. I got to interview Isaac Robinson Smith, who does Bishop's voice in X-Men 97,
Mm-hmm.
and he was amazing. And Bishop has always been such an underrated character. I feel like
Very.
even in the comics, it's like he's so powerful. He's so complex. There's so many things about him, and I don't understand why people sleep on him.
It's the same. I think for a multitude of reasons, but he is really, for lack of a better term, an OP character, if especially written right.
Hmm.
And I'll be personally excited to see how they carry a lot of those traits that they've used in the X-Men animated series, both the original as well as X-Men 97 plus, shameless plug, the short time that he had on Wolverine and X-Men. So it'll be interesting to see.
It will be. I would think that he's one of the big ones that are coming, but also I think he's going to be a huge part of X-Men 97 season 2, so they might steer away from that.
That is true too.
Yeah, but we're going to have to wait a whole year for X-Men 97 season 2, which is horrible on my soul.
The one good thing about being a MCU fan is that it teaches you patience, whether you like it or not.
Well, we won't need much for this year because it's so jam packed. But I mean, it's all quality stuff, and it feels like it's pushed around very well because some is animated, some is a movie, some is just a TV show.
And it almost feels like a callback to how TV film was delivered in the past. Spoiler, I am 42 years old, and I know this does not crack. So
Yeah, right? I would I would have guessed like mid 20s.
I appreciate it. Um, but being able to experience, the original run of the X-Men,
Yeah.
even some of the Spider-Man and his amazing friend episodes that aired during syndication, having those multiple lanes to be able to enjoy some of the things that we get to geek and nerd over is absolutely fantastic in my personal opinion. I think being able to separate and create just a little bit of lane separation between animation, between live action, whether it's small screen or big screen, really does the characters as well as the IPs a better justice, in my opinion.
I could see that. I agree. That was golly, that was such a time back then when X-Men the anime series was coming out. That's what started me on all this. But it was
Hmm.
such a messy time when it came out because they were releasing shows out of order. They just made no sense. But it's like it's kind of endearing once you look back on it to see how much order and how much work is actually put into it now because when X-Men the anime series started, they were so in the dark about how it was doing that the actors had no idea. Every time they recorded, they thought it would be their last time.
Yep.
It's just crazy to me.
Uh, Definitely excited for all the things to come. I know, only a couple more days now before What If season 3?
Yeah, yeah. The last one, which I find extremely surprising because it's what if the possibilities are so endless with it.
And that almost tells me that there is a bigger plan and they just need the funding for it.
Yeah, or I mean, they say it's the final season, but like we very well could see these characters show up in another animated thing,
Hmm.
like Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies. It's a packed year, but we don't know what's after that,
Yep.
which
Uh,
I would like that. Are you a big fan of What If?
oh, absolutely.
Oh,
It
good.
so also Marvel fan. I'm also a big DC fan,
Oh, good.
and I thoroughly enjoy the DC Elseworld stuff, where it's kind of that one-off. I think DC Animation has done a really good job sharing some of those Elseworld stories in regards to their overall storytelling.
Yeah.
And you know, like like the rest of us, I was glued to every internet source yesterday watching the teaser
Yeah.
for the new Superman film because if you paid attention, we never got that big title.
Yeah.
So is it still Superman Legacy? Is it going to be retitled something else?
Well, he retitled it from Superman Legacy to Superman.
Okay,
Yeah, and it was just a teaser trailer. It wasn't the full trailer, so we didn't get a plot. We didn't get
we
nothing, but we
we
got
didn't.
so much.
We
So
got so
much.
much, and the other kicker to that too is that this is such new ground for DC as a
Mhm.
whole. So in some cases, like my brain was wired for still how Zack Snyder and the DCEU presented, here's what we're giving to you coming up.
Mhm.
And James said, nope, take the dynamite, blow it all up. We're starting from scratch.
Which I'm a Snyder fan. I like those movies. In my head, they are it's the multiverse and those are
Hmm.
different variations of them.
Exactly. I'm very much the same way. I appreciate a lot of film and television that most fan bases will thumbs down and just drag through the mud.
Yeah.
Like I know in my group, I was one of the few people that really enjoyed She-Hulk. the Eternals. You know, these were things to me that it hit me in a certain way that I can appreciate it, or the fact that, I just went back to my roots of just turning my brain off and taking the story that's being told to me as opposed to the fan fiction that I feel is better that I wrote in my head.
It's the way it used to be. We all used to just go into movies, no expectations, just expecting to have a good time. And I feel like if we just go back to that, there'd be so much less toxicity.
So much.
Yeah, because I mean, you you can hate on the Snyder movies, totally cool. We all like what we like. But you can't say that there wasn't a passion put into them because Snyder did have that passion. The characters, the actors had that passion for their roles. She-Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
which anyone that tries to come after She-Hulk but still complains about wanting comic accuracy, there's something else going on there.
That
So,
part.
yeah. It's ridiculous. But there is that passion that comes from them, and you can see it on the screen. And if you don't like the writing, you don't like the story, that's okay. There still was effort.
Completely.
Yeah, and still people are allowed to like those things and still be excited for the new Superman.
Even, well, okay, while I do feel that the Sony universe of Spider-Man
The
has,
exception.
yeah, no, it played out the way it did. Um, I watched Kraven. I went in there with low expectations, not really because of the history of Sony films, but just because Sony kind of spoiled it for me when they put out the same day as its theatrical release that, hey, we're done. So
Yeah.
internally, that tells me you really don't want me to care. But Kraven is a character that I really grew to appreciate from the original, from the 90s Spider-Man, the animated series. While, yes, that interpretation was completely different from its comic depiction,
Mm-hmm.
it's still the writers and the team that put that Kraven in animation put a passion and told such a story that I was looking forward to this live adaptation. And I'm gonna say this, and I've shared this with a friend of mine. I think eventually we'll look back at Kraven the same way a lot of folks looked at Watchmen when it first released. A lot of people had issues with the comic accuracy, the close to page, while kind of still telling its own story. And yes, Craven was not flawless. By no means am I saying that. But I do believe it held close enough to a lot of the comic resources while still trying to tell its own story with that obvious absence of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. I I went into it with no expectations. I love the comic character. I love the character. I am aware of what Sony has done to me in the past, and I keep going back. Like, just. But I didn't hate it. I did not. I hated Madam Web so much more.
I agree.
Morbius, yeah, so much more. But Craven was fun. I did have a good time with it. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven. I think that
Mm-hmm.
casting was phenomenal. And it is the amount of times Aaron Taylor Johnson has played a Marvel character that has a Russian accent is wild to me. It's only two, but that is a lot.
Russell Crowe playing his father.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell hams it up in some of the best ways when he's playing the flea bag, the asshole, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he's having fun with it, along with most of the cast as well. And it sucks that this is the way that it's going to go out, because in the same vein that we've had Craven, we've had Madam Web, we've had the Venom series, we've also gotten into the Spider Verse. We've gotten the Sam Raimi Spider Man,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that the ability to make a good film is there with Sony. And I think this is going to be one of those that whether in business or in film, we're going to unpack and try to figure out what went so wrong with Sony's iterations of films in regards to the Spider-Man characters that just did not resonate, that just felt overproduced or over involvement from the studios themselves, who clearly didn't understand a lot of these characters.
Yeah, I think what I genuinely think it is that they were pumping them out so quick just to get the money for the characters, because I think something is happening behind the scenes we can't see with the rights to Spider-Man.
Mm,
That's the only thing that makes sense. They did say that it was done for now, which is like, y'all are done. But in the same vein, they said that Null was coming back from Venom 3. So it's like, I don't think you guys believe what you're saying.
I think that one, and this is so now I'm going into fan fiction mode.
Do
I
it.
think that one is where we're probably going to see Sony as a whole finish with it and say, "Hey, Marvel by proxy, Big Daddy Disney, do y'all want to play in the sandbox again like we've done with Spider-Man?"
Yeah, I can see that. That's true.
And I think so. Outside of the Marvel and DC fandoms, I'm also a huge Transformer fan, and Hasbro has come out this past month saying, "Hey, we're no longer investing in our films." And a lot of people took that to say that that was going to be the end of IPs like Transformers and GI Joe and potentially other properties that Hasbro owns seen on the big screen. When in reality, that really just means that they're not going to fully back it anymore. But that doesn't mean that they can't license out the IP to someone else to flip the bill. So there's
Okay.
still a hope there. And I think that's what we're going to start to see with some of the Sony properties. I'm really hoping eventually we get that same deal with Universal, because I would like to see another slash a true MCU Hulk film.
I am actually very confused that the rights haven't been given back, because the rights to the movie have. But Universal's just kind of holding on to those rights for dear life, I guess.
I
But I think
They're in the catbird seat. They hey, keep writing zeros on that check until we say yes.
true. I mean, I do the same, so I can't judge too much. But you can tell that Marvel wants to do a World War Hulk so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they introduced the car. They talked about uh, Bruce Banner going off world. It's like, oh, you want to do it so bad. I could just feel it. They're so antsy.
It would be so good. Cause I apologize because trying to keep up with the rights of each characters in each studio at this point
It's
is
rough.
you need a flow chart. You need massive Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
But I also believe they have a couple of other characters as well, but Hulk being the primary one. And imagine if we were to get, say, you know, an updated version of Hulk and the Agents of Smash in live action in the MCU. We already have Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk coming, which I am so pumped for Brave New World.
Yes. Yes.
We
So
know
excited.
Scar exists,
Yeah.
although that haircut was something to be desired.
That felt rude, and it felt like it was just rude. Okay, I didn't like that.
I felt some kind of way. You know, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to see how they continue to play this out. But and we have She-Hulk, we have Bruce Banner Hulk. We can incorporate so many other Hulks at this point, and I think Universal, just say when. Let them cut the check at this point, please.
There's definitely something going on there, because I believe Universal only has distribution rights to Hulk and Namor, which is like, we've seen Namor. We've had him.
Hmm.
It makes sense now why there were rumors that was going to be a whole movie for him, but it didn't happen. Which, why would it? But
Yeah.
I could I want to see an actual Hulk movie because I'm kind of sick of them sneaking their way into other projects to get around the fact that they can have one. Like She-Hulk, they're like, make Bruce Banner a big deal in that show. They can't make a movie. But with Brave New World, I am so worried that they are going to use that movie and make it a Hulk-centered movie instead of giving Sam Wilson the time that he has rightfully earned.
I 100% agree with that. I'm going to tread very lightly as I say this, because the one thing that I appreciate about you, Megan, is that you have created this space to reside and operate from the toxicity.
Yeah.
And as a man of color who appreciates and values seeing someone who looks like him carry the mantle of Captain America, it does my heart pride and my ears hurt when I hear some of the disgusting things that are said about Sam Wilson's portrayal as Cap.
I can only imagine because I in your position, you not more sensitive to it, but you can pick up on the little things easier than I can because that is your life. You've seen that firsthand. I have seen it happen firsthand, but not to me. So when I do see someone who is so damn loud about their ignorance, I'm just like, then you're not a Marvel fan. I'm sorry, you're not a fan. You just want to be ignorant. Not every character is white and male and straight. That's not how it works. It worked when Marvel first happened. How long ago was that? 85 years ago? But now, times have changed. People matter. People have so much to give, even if they're not white, which is crazy for these people to hear. It's insane. Also, I don't want to hear that they changed him because to check a box or because they're woke. Read a damn comic. Make it make sense, because he is Captain America currently in the comics and has been for a decade.
And has done a very good job with it as well, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
And that said, I'll even break it down to an even more simple level.
Mm-hmm.
In a pantheon of characters in the Marvel universe, not just the Marvel Cinematic, everyone does not need to be represented or feel represented by every character, because there are so many.
Yeah.
There are some characters that you're going to relate to at a personal level. There's some characters that you'll relate to at an emotional level. There are some characters we'll relate to at a mental level.
Yeah. Very true. And you're right. There are so many. There's gay characters. There's black, Hispanic, white, female, trans. There's everything you could want. Not every character has to mean something to every fan. They're not a character at that point. You can find something you can relate to in any person in the world, but they don't have to cater to every fan. Let someone have their own person.
And that's what makes being in this world so much fun, because we're essentially children again, playing with our toys.
Yeah.
You know, there's no right way to play with toys. You're subject to your imagination and your creativity. And I could take the characters that I like better, whether it is G.I. Joe, Transformers, or Captain America, Sam Wilson, and we can take your Venom and anything else that you have, and we can build this world together and enjoy it all the same.
Exactly. It's a whole universe. It's not about one family, one person, one type of hero. There's so many different heroes, and that's something really beautiful, because people can find one person they relate to. And if you can't, then you just haven't looked hard enough. I'm sorry, but there's so many. For God's sakes, look at any of the X-Men. Every single one is just crazy, insanely different, but everyone is represented.
Google's free. I mean, you can literally type in superhero characters and fill in the blank.
It's very, very true. It's just It's right there, guys. The cheat sheet's right there.
But these are the times, and this is why we do what we do, to create those healthy areas, to help people find those safe spaces, to even not even just enjoy the characters that they like. The other thing too is we don't have to gatekeep our characters,
Yeah.
as that's the other issue that I see a lot of. You'll have a person who is brand new to something, and they may go to a Facebook comment group and ask a simple question.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
can you tell me more about this character? Why does it resonate with you?
I had a talk with someone just last night that made a post on Threads and said, "How can you consider yourself a Superman fan when you didn't know about crypto?" And it's like, whoa, 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 hang on. What makes a real Superman fan is if they like Superman. Not if they read the comics, not if they watched every movie, every animated series. They like Superman. Let people learn. Don't make people feel dumb for not knowing how much as much as you do. Cause I'm sorry, if you're going out of your way to gatekeep, you're not a genius. You're just an ass.
Yep, hands down.
Yeah.
This is the time where we could sit here and just, oh, you need more. Let me show you. Let me show you the ones that resonated with me. You may not like them all, but I think I know you well enough to say watch episode 12, 15, 42, and in season 2, pay attention to this.
Yeah, I feel like if we just all did that little bit of kindness, like if someone asks, what comic should I start? How can I learn about this character? Who is this character? Just tell them. Don't be a dick about it. Just you're helping another nerd increase their passion. What is so bad about that? Do you think it makes you better by making fun of them? Because it doesn't. It makes you worse, actually. And I actually love when people ask questions because that's a big thing to do now,
Yeah.
especially in this time. You get belittled for such little things, but if you have the balls to ask, then let's go. Let's do it. Let's learn together. There's shit I don't know either.
100%. I mean, my fandoms are too vast for me to keep up with everything
Yeah.
every second of the day. In just this conversation, I've probably only mentioned about 5% of the things that I'm very passionate about when it comes to the fandoms. I go down the rabbit holes of Doctor Who. I go down the rabbit holes of Power Rangers. I go down the rabbit hole of Yu-Gi-Oh! As I'm sitting here looking at all my pop collections and different things, like, oh yeah, that too. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, there are so many different things that I try to stay as connected to, but I can't keep up with everything. And sometimes I have to go, yeah, you've been on top of this a little bit more, or maybe because they're more narrow on that fandom. What did I miss? Help me out.
Yeah, and if we both know everything about the thing we're discussing, what are we discussing?
Absolutely nothing. It becomes an echo chamber.
That's it. And no one wants that. There's enough echo chambers online, guys. We saw all of them yesterday. Every single one. We are tired.
Absolutely. Come with a different, come with a different voice, a different perspective. Let's have these conversations. Let's engage and converse. You know, help me understand why this character is special to you. There might be some story regarding a family member that got you into the character, or there might have been a struggle in your own life,
Yeah,
and that character is that much more important to you.
absolutely. There's something you can relate to about every character. Everyone has their own personal feelings about a character. Let's talk about it. We're not There's no reason to fight. Like if I say I like I can't even use Morbius as an example. My soul won't let me do it.
No, it's okay. Let it. Come on, go for it.
I cannot do it. My soul won't allow it. It's saying don't you dare put that out there. Like say I like the Snyderverse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why does that hurt anyone? Cuz I like it? Like that's okay.
Here, okay. So the way you're so, I could fight mine a little bit harder.
Okay.
I appreciated Superman for the character that he was. For as long as I've been into comics, it wasn't until Snyder came along and presented him through the portrayal of Henry Cavill that I truly became to love that character. And this is a guy who grew up with the Justice League, Justice League Unlimited, Superman, the animated series, the classic Super Friends. I have been all ingrown and just entrenched in Superman. And he was just too perfect.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the adversaries and a lot of the things that he came up against, I couldn't really appreciate it. And then the scene that everybody hates, well, excuse me, the scene that most people hated in the Snyder verse was the scene that made me appreciate that character that much more.
Was it Martha's scene?
No, not that one.
Okay.
With Zod, when he had to snap his neck to save the people.
Oh, yeah.
To make that kind of a decision, it humanized him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yes, of course, in the moment, us who are couch quarterbacking, oh, well, I would have just done that, or I would have just done that.
That's
Okay,
me.
cool. Put yourself in a high stress situation, and let's see how your brain continues to operate.
It's true. I agree. I think the Snyderverse gave us a lot that many people don't want to talk about because of things like the Martha scene that we all know and love. But also, Man of Steel, that is such an underrated movie, and I don't care what anyone says. That's a damn good movie.
I agree.
Yeah. So, and also Cavill killed it.
Oh yeah.
But like I was upset when he wasn't coming back. I was like, "How dare James Gunn?" But then it was like James Gunn's rebooting, so for like 10 minutes I was like, "How dare he?" But now you have to look that Cavill is doing his dream role right now with Warhammer.
Yep.
So it worked out so beautifully for everyone, and David Cornsweet looks amazing as Clark Kent and Superman. And I know people don't like the underoos, they don't like the curly hair, but it's like, let them cook, because James Gunn is putting so much work into this, and the comic accuracy just from the teaser trailer shows this is about to be a banger of a movie.
This is James Gunn is going to make us feel things that we only discuss with our therapist
Yeah.
over autonomous robots and animals, as he normally does.
Dude, he messed me up so hard with Creature Commandos last week.
Oh my goodness!
He ruined me. GI Robot, I started that show. I didn't know anything about these characters. I'm trying to jump into DC. I want to know just as much as Marvel. So I am all in for whatever he gives me. But when I started that show, I was like, GI Robot, a Nazi killing robot. That I see my least favorite one here. He doesn't even have a personality. And then by the end of it, I was like, how dare he take him from me?
Heartbroken, crushed. The scene where you realize he understands what he has to do in that moment, and I'm like, oh no. Mm-hmm. That one sense of peace that he had is now gone.
He was just so happy when he thought they were Nazis. Like, he was just so happy. And then this past one this week, I was like, I knew better. I said to myself before, I was like, I hate Weasel. He creeps me out. But then this week, I was like, it's an Weasel episode. You're about to change your mind about this creepy little thing. And I did.
I remember when you was talking about that on one of the episodes, and I said, she doesn't know what's coming yet.
I wasn't ready.
This is the magic that is James Gunn. You know, whereas some people want you to focus on the monolith of the human individual, James Gunn gives emotion to the cold or the voiceless.
Yeah. Yeah. He is every therapist's either worst nightmare or he is their bankroll. He is there's been a few times these past 2 years that I'm like, James Gunn does not like us because he is making me feel things that I shouldn't be feeling right now. I freaking Weasel. I knew it wasn't like going into it. I knew it was like he didn't kill no 27 kids. He did something else. Probably framed. But then when you watch it, it was like, how dare they? And the police officer and the old man. At the end of it, I was like, I don't even want to watch this show anymore. I feel too bad.
And again, I'm sitting there like, dude, look, just look past Weasel. This is me watching it 7:30 in the morning, screaming from my bed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was watching. I was like, where are your priorities? That little girl's 5 feet from you. You saw you can't hear her? No priorities. And that is disgusting. And the old man, you were more worried about getting Weasel killed than you were about saving those children. Also, those children, little rascals. You don't just break into a school. Everyone's to blame but Weasel.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep.
Hands down.
And James Gunn, he's changing me as a person.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I think so. He's giving me things I didn't know I wanted when I started this like DC journey. I always thought like, oh yeah, he's gonna make another Superman. It's gonna be another origin story. We've seen it all before. But then yesterday, I was like, after it, I thought that was the best teaser trailer I've ever seen in my life. Like, he didn't give me anything, but he gave me so much. Did you see anything in the trailer that piqued your interest the most?
The fact that there's Ultraman in there, that, I mean, I was already set for Mr. Terrific. By the way, James Gunn, already, I appreciated the Smallville version of him. You notice a trend with me that there are certain characters that I tend to lean towards just a little bit more. Mr. Terrific is another one that I feel he did not get his flowers in Justice League Unlimited. But again, with a cast like that, so many characters, there's only but so much time. I love this on-screen version that we're getting thus far. Guy Gardner, that bowl haircut just made me want to punch him in the face, which tells me he's doing it right.
Yeah.
But then to see... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what I was going to say, but please go ahead.
But then to see... I went to go see Sonic 3 today. And in the trailers, they actually showed that same teaser. This is the first teaser in the AMC that I went to. And it's that teaser with just a little bit more footage. And in one shot, you see Ultraman in there with the big U and everything. This is the guy that's fighting Superman in the baseball park.
Oh.
It's such a blink and you miss it moment.
Dude, I don't think we're actually ready for Superman.
Nope.
I don't think we're worthy, first of all. Like, my only fear is, well, I have two fears. One, I hope he doesn't do his usual score of like pop rock and rock songs. I hope it's more of an orchestra vibe throughout the movie. I just think it'll be more powerful. But also, I'm worried about how many people he's putting in this movie. I hope they're all just tiny cameos that are just there to give us a look to see what's coming and nothing more.
Yeah, I think the runtime is going to tell us how that will play out, because there are so many characters, and I think this can easily be one of those, okay, we have representation from a version of the Justice League with Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific. So they can take up, a little bit of space without drowning down the movie and taking away from the star in Superman. But now when we also have Crypto, we also have Ultraman, we also have Lex. There's a couple of other characters that have been named to be in it, but again, subjective to the final cut if they get adequate screen time or not.
Yeah, what I really hope happens is that it is like a world-ending thing, threat that is happening all over the world, like, I don't know, aliens or something, And it's just them flipping through different places where they see Hawk Girl, where they see all these other characters fighting that thing. That's all I want. That's just enough to be like, oh, hell yeah, we're getting that sometime. But also, I would die for Crypto. I don't even, like, I want one.
Just go ahead and give me the stuffed animal right now. Give me the stuffed animal. Give me the pop. I'm gonna go ahead, shut up and take my money. Here's my card. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that it's James Gunn's rescue dog.
Yeah.
He made it. He started from the bottom and he made it.
It's crazy that in this year we have been tethered to dogs in 2 different films because we got Dogpool in Deadpool and Wolverine, and now the entire world has fallen in love with Crypto through a teaser trailer.
I also want to point out, everyone, that like James Gunn has a thing for killing off cute animals.
No.
So
no, we're not doing that.
I'm worried.
We're not doing
I'm very
that.
worried. I'm so worried.
We're not doing that. The goodest of boys, no. We're not doing that.
I don't even think I can say on camera the horrible things I would do if he did that. I think it'd be seen as terrorism.
No, we're not. We're gonna focus, and we're gonna remember. Yes, Rocket may have gone through some things, but he was fine. He made it out better than ever.
Better than ever.
You know, his family's a little bit spread, but he also has a new family now.
His new family kind of blows though, because like you have Adam Warlock. That's just kind of like, that's not Adam Warlock, but like,
I mean, you
he'll
know,
get
in
there
fairness,
someday.
He didn't get to choose this family, but he said, "Look, y'all can come with me." All right, that's a big brother moment right there.
That's true. Now he's providing the family.
Yep.
He's the hero we all need.
Hands down. the story arc of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Very true. So this has been an amazing conversation. This has been so fun. I haven't had to look at any notes I have just because it's flowed. So thanks. So as we get to the end of this episode, would you mind telling the listeners where they can find you?
Sure. Right now, our nonprofit is in a bit of revamping, refreshing. So, but the social media will be a little bit quiet until first half after the new year. But please find us on all of our social medias, Being the Uncommon. Website, beingtheuncommon.com. Instagram, @beingtheuncommon. And, of course, Facebook, Being the Uncommon. Give us a follow. Stay tuned. Hang on, because I'm excited for the things that we're getting ready to do. The past 9 years have shown me that change is necessary. And so I have taken this little bit of a hiatus to come together with close friends and revamp this beautiful passion that is helping people find their communities.
Aw, that's so nice. I love that. So thank you so much for being here. You're an absolute joy. Please feel free to come back literally anytime.
Absolutely.
You're amazing. And
thank you.
I love what you're doing with the Uncommon. It sounds very, very needed.
I think it's going to be pivotal going forward for a lot of folks. And so it's the thing that I'm most passionate about, and it's the thing that I feel that I'm called to do right now. So I appreciate it.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, to our listeners, thank you for listening to another episode of Vigilante Vibes, the first non-toxic Marvel podcast. Wherever you're listening or watching this episode, check the show notes because you can find all the links to find Chris and all of the work he's doing with the Uncommon right there. Check me on all social networks just by searching www.vigilantevibes.com. You can catch all my comic book, TV show, and movie reviews on nerdinitiative.com. Wherever you're listening or watching this episode, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any more episodes. Thank you for listening and have a marvelous night.